Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Adegoke Omotola, Leadership Talk with Adegoke. I'm so excited to be on the platform once again with my friend from North Carolina. Wayne is going to be adding so much value as a professional to the core and as a sales coach as well as a real estate coach as well, also real estate consultant. Leadership Talk with Adegoke has had so many distinguished personalities, and this session promises to be awesome. So this is the 51st episode of Leadership Talk with Adegoke, and we're looking at leadership and neuro-linguistic programming. Wow, tongue twisting, isn't it? How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Adegoke, I'm glad to be here. Very glad, very thankful. I'm doing well, man. I love talking about leadership because I think leadership is so important in personal life, business life, and I love talking about neuro-linguistic programming, the neuroscience of how the brain works. I'm just excited to be on here with you today.
Excellent. How's the weather in North Carolina? How's the weather?
Looking out the window, looks great. Haven't been out today. But yeah, man, we're blessed here. It's 80 degrees, sunshine. So far, so good.
Super. Now tell us, who is Wayne? Who is Wayne Sutton?
Who is Wayne Sutton? Man, I'm a dad. I'm a business owner. I'm a minister. So I wear many hats, depending on what time of the day it is, I guess. But really, who I am, I feel, is one called to help other people. And that sounds so cliche, but I believe we have so many people telling us what we can't do, what we can't accomplish.
Wow.
We have a world that tells us what we can't. I want to tell somebody what they can do. I want to help somebody learn the skill set and the mindset to go and accomplish what they've been called to accomplish.
Wow. So you're called to share the good news.
That's it.
I'm so excited too. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining us on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. This is the 51st edition and promises to be awesome. Now, tell us, how did you get into leadership, Wayne?
Oh, wow. So I think growing up with a dad that was an entrepreneur, a dad that was just determined to make his own way.
Yeah.
I saw his success and I saw a lot of failure. But what I recognized with every failure was, there was no Facebook, there was no social media, so you couldn't just post your good days. Okay. I saw Dad through it all, the good and bad. Leadership to me, though, was quickly realized when I went to work with people. I had a boss, I had a manager that I'm like, wow, they don't know how to talk to people. There was no leadership. They didn't have to lead. They knew how to control. And there's a difference. And so leadership to me became, I got to learn to lead me first. Wow. I got to learn to control my mind.
Self-leadership, yeah.
Self-leadership. Then you can lead other people. And realizing that we're always going to have someone that is going to be leading us as well. We just got to be willing to be led in those circumstances.
Wow. Excellent. So it's been an amazing journey and you're still learning?
Still leading, still being led.
Excellent. Now, what's the relationship between leadership and neuro-linguistic programming?
That's a great question. Neuro-linguistic programming really is, and I borrow from neuro-linguistic programming. I borrow from different modalities, temperament therapy, hypnosis. I borrow from a little different areas of how the mind works.
Yeah.
But leadership is truly, as we talked about before, leading yourself, self-leadership, leading others. And neuro-linguistic programming is recognizing what works, what I borrow from it. Different people will borrow different. What I borrow is, can I model the behavior of another leader? Why do they lead this way? Why do people follow them? And how can I model that behavior, model that belief system, and then apply it in a way that's duplicatable? If I can do it, great. But can my people that are following me, that I'm coaching, can they follow the same process?
Wow.
That's the key.
Wow. So it's to get your followers on the same page with you as well and be able to relate to them easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to break it down for us. So what is leadership to you? You define leadership. Now, what is neuralistic programming? You define that. So for a leader, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of applying this tool?
Okay, for a leader, I think the biggest key is recognizing the person that you're trying to lead
Okay.
has their own map of reality.
Yeah.
They see things. You asked me earlier, have you been to Africa? And I said, I have not. I have friends that go and they tell me about it. And I have an understanding of what Africa is like, but I've never been.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I go, I would see it different, but I would still have my own map of reality based upon that.
Yeah.
And so everyone that you're talking with has their own reality in their head of how life is. And their map is going to be different than your map.
Okay.
When you're talking to more than one, you're leading an organization, you're leading a political movement.
Okay.
Then you have to understand there's different modality, different belief systems there too, different maps. Okay. So you as a leader need to learn how to connect to that person's core values.
All right.
What's important to Adegoke? It may be important to me. It may not be.
That's right.
But what is important to you and why is that important? Because when we can get into the why, the core values, people will fight and die for things that are important to them.
Wow.
And, we see this all the time. We see it in religion. We see it in politics. People die for something that means everything to them and other people don't care anything about it. So why do they feel that way? And can we use that in a purposeful and a very productive way, not death?
Wow.
Makes sense?
Yeah. But is there any relationship between this and DISC? The DISC system?
Yeah, DISC profile. Yeah. So if you look at a DISC profile, that is, I'm a high D, high I, but that doesn't matter. But everybody has different ways of seeing life. Here's another way of looking at it, even beyond the DISC. The DISC is one. There's also another one that really gets into the core values. What I like to do is whether I give somebody a DISC profile, a core value index profile, that's great. But then I want to just really get to know that person. Why do you do what you do? Like, Adegoke, I know you're a leadership consultant. If I said to you, why is that important?
That's right.
You would start telling me why it's important to you. And we would, through that journey, we find out what drives you. Because when you find other people, they may not be exactly like you, but like-minded, you can really just take over. You can take over the world with greatness because one person is powerful, 2 or 3 people. Leadership is bringing a common movement, I believe.
Wow. A lot of people, leaders find it challenging to lead people that are, doing what you can call self-sabotage, imposter syndrome. How can a leader shift the mindset of the followers positively?
Okay. So let's talk about self-sabotage real quick. I think self-sabotage, we can all be guilty of it. It's how do we view ourselves? How do we view others? And how do we view life itself?
Yeah.
And we have to go, well, how do I view myself? Literally pen and paper. What do I see myself? Who am I? Why do I feel this way? And go through a process. And in our coaching, we help them go through that. But then how do I view other people? How do I view Adegoke? How do I view other people in the same industry, outside of my industry? And then how do I view life? Do I believe life is good and is for me? Or do I believe life is hell and I'm just trying to get, which one do I believe?
Yeah.
So how can a leader help people through that? First, you have to get through the self-sabotage. Then when it goes to imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome is a very real part. People don't feel like I'm good enough, but also sometimes they need to look at it and go, maybe they're not. And what I mean by that is some people go, oh, you just have imposter syndrome. You're good enough. Maybe you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe David Goggins, in his book, It Can't Hurt Me, he says, I'll leave all the explicitives out, but he's like, you are a weak person. You are this. And he had his mirror there. You're fat, you're overweight, you're lazy. And he had to recognize his reality to change his reality.
Wow. Wow.
So if we always say, hey, you can do, we tell our children, at least here in the States, I know it's, hey, the American dream, you can have a house and a white picket fence, and you can do this and you can do this, and you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can't. Maybe it's not in their skill set. So help them develop the intuition, build up their hope and faith with the skill sets. And is it possible? Is it worth it? Not just is it possible, but is it worth it? Is it worth the energy to attract something? So leadership is personal, one-on-one as much as possible. And then when you get into a movement, really finding out why people do what they do and help them.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Now, you talked about hypnosis, you talked about mind, how about mind mapping? Are you familiar with mind mapping as well?
It's not something I personally use. I know people that use mind mapping. I've got a very good friend who uses that a lot in his practice, and I think it can be great. I really do. I think that's the beautiful part out of it is there's so many different tools that we can pull from, whether it be mind mapping, timeline therapy. I think is great. We use some timeline therapy in some of our sessions. When you use the word hypnosis, people get freaked out sometimes. They don't understand it. But hypnosis is just a shift of consciousness. That's all it is. That gives you, if you can shift someone's consciousness, so you can speak to their unconscious.
Wow.
The unconscious makes decisions.
Yeah.
So it's using hypnotic realities in our everyday conversations.
Wow. Excellent. If you just tuned in, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, episode 51. And I'm speaking alongside my friend from North Carolina in the U.S., Wayne Sutton. Wayne Sutton from the U.S. is a sales coach and is also a real estate consultant. So, Wayne, I want to speak to this. What's the challenge? What's the negative side of a leader not being able to have, a strategy regarding NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming?
Well, whether it's neuro-linguistic program or any strategy, the negative they don't have it is when people do not know what to do, they act out of emotion. That's usually negative. They out of fear.
Okay.
So if a leader can't lead someone with the right tools, the right mindset, the right strategies, they'll go into control, anger. And it may move activity, but it may move emotions, but it does not move in the realm of leadership.
Wow.
If you think about it, I always tell people, if you ever think about someone that you would follow, you just naturally like this person. And I have friends that way that said, hey, Wayne, I'm moving to this company. I've got two friends now that said, hey, I'm moving. If they were to say, I'm moving to this company, I'm moving to this part of the state, will you move with me? I would move simply because I'll know, like, and trust this person. Yeah. Because they are leaders. They're not telling me what I have to do. They're asking and they're providing a path. Think about this. When someone sees the future or their future, they see where we can go. They're willing to do it. We can have freedom. We can have unity, whatever that is. And here in the States, let's look at Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
His famous speech was, I have a dream.
I have a dream, yeah.
I have a dream. But if you really listen to it, I don't think he had a dream. I think the dream had him.
Wow.
I think the dream was in him so much. He could see a future where black, white, and yellow were all one. He could see it so much, it drove him. And when he spoke of that future, they saw it too.
Wow.
Well, they didn't. And when they saw it too, then they moved forward. That's why he was such a great leader.
Wow. This is massive information being shared by Wayne. We appreciate you for showing up and adding so much value.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you. So I want you to just share, 3 things, that you think a leader must do now with all the challenges of the pandemic? What must leaders do now? 3 things. Go.
Oh, 3 things. Number 1, they've got to recognize their own, as a leader, their own weaknesses and failures and be transparent about it.
Okay.
People want to follow people that lead and guide, but they also want to follow people that, Superman, nobody would love Superman if there wasn't the kryptonite.
Yeah.
There has to be a weakness, and you've got to be able to say, hey, guys, here's my challenge. Here's what I'm doing to overcome it. So leadership's got to look at their own self-sabotage, their own weakness. Number 1. Number 2, they have to get into a future, a present and a future. They got to get hope. People need hope. People need encouragement. People need somebody to stand with them and go, we can get through this together. That's the second thing. And the third is they got to be willing to connect with other like-minded people. We're not in this world alone. I believe in a collective consciousness. I believe we're all in the same boat. I believe we need to find people that are like us, other leaders. If somebody comes to me, I don't have to say, yay, you're following me. I can say, hey, man, you need to connect with what Adegoke is doing. I need to be able to connect with other people because I don't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. So that's the third thing they need to do. Is they need to connect with like-minded people with a common vision.
Wow.
Common vision.
Wow. Yeah. Communicate and connect. Communicate. And that's one quality of great leaders. They always communicate and
communication is key.
Now, we're getting close to the end of the session. It's been amazing. Now, do you have mentors? You have mentors?
I have several mentors. So I have. I always tell people I really believe you need a mentor that can in different areas of your life that's important. For example, I have business mentors that number 1 I follow. I have business coaches that I pay money to, and go help me with this, teach me in this. I have religious mentors that I follow because I believe in the wisdom and their guidance.
Well done.
And then I have my wife, and she always tells me what to do.
That's the greatest mentor. That's your biggest critic and your biggest validator.
That's it. That's right.
As well.
And sometimes at the same time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bible says a man finds a wife and finds a good thing, and
yes.
Favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm glad you mentioned that because I think the first and foremost mentor is, and as a minister, and people may or may not believe the way I believe, but I think my first mentor is the Holy Spirit. I really believe that the Spirit of God guides me, leads me, connects me, and I have to be, if he's a leader, I have to be led.
Yeah.
That means
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you for acknowledging that, because I'm also a faith person.
Good.
The Bible tells me that without the Holy Spirit, you can do nothing.
Do nothing. That's right. Yeah. He is definitely our mentor.
And he's the game changer. Yeah, you want to say something?
Well, I do. I want to, in fact, so I'll take a second there. People a lot of times go, who do I go in business with? How do I do this? And it's really partnering with the divine, partnering with God. And there's a great passage that many people miss in the book of Luke. And in the book of Luke, they've been fishing all night long. These are professional fishermen. And they pull in, they caught nothing. And then Jesus says, cast your nets. And they pull in all these fish. But they miss, you got to slow down and read. Jesus said, hey, let me out in your boat to give the message. He partnered with them.
Wow.
He partnered by using their boat. When he partnered with them, they got the partnership access to the keys. Then when their boat was overfull, Jesus said, tell your other partners. So they called out to their partners' boats. Partnering is important. It's part of leadership. Who do you partner with? Do you partner with like-minded people of the same accord, or do you partner with people just because you think you can get something from them?
Yeah.
It can be very dangerous.
Thank you. That's so deep, and thank you for speaking to that as well. That's refreshing.
Thank you.
Now, how do we, the listeners, how can they reach you?
Okay. Yeah. The easiest way is my website, yourpersuasioncoach.com.
Okay.
And we have our podcast is also called Your Persuasion Coach. But yourpersuasioncoach.com is my podcast, my articles, all of our coaching information. My key belief here is if you can learn to influence yourself first, then you can influence others, and then you can impact the world.
Wow.
And that world could be a mom at home with her children, or it could be a political leader.
Wow.
What is your world? But you've got to start here first.
Wow. Amazing. Wayne Sutton, that's the man. That's the man from North Carolina. He's showing up massively on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. This is the 51st episode, and I'm so excited to be sharing the platform with you. You've released so much in terms of knowledge, and we salute you, we celebrate you, we honor you, and we just want to thank you. On this note, just in 30 seconds, what would you like to share with our listeners all over the world?
Anything is possible if it's within your realm. If it's within your realm, as I said earlier, what have you been called to do? What is that destiny within you? Most people never ask. Take time to say, what is my destiny? What have I been called to do? Because then you'll find the resources to make that available. That's my biggest thing. Learn to work on you first, and then you can work on other people.
Wow, excellent. You heard from the man himself, Wayne Sutton, leadership coach, and also a real estate coach as well. Showing up on Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 51st edition, Leadership and Neuro Linguistic Programming. Thank you so much, my friend. On behalf of myself and the team, we appreciate you. To everyone, till next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.